your headphones on. Just kind of help us hear each other. All right, this is episode 5.
Episode 5.
Episode 5. Yep, you're number 5 with today's guest, my friend and coworker Brandon Reynolds.
Hi, everybody.
Cowboy. Okay. Now at the end of this, help me remember to ask you a question.
Okay.
Because Nate at work,
Yeah.
he was like, "Have you ever thought about asking people questions like at the beginning or the end?" And I was like, "No, but I've seen other podcasts do that, and I like that." So I have one question I want to ask everybody, but I want to have like 3 to 5. I just haven't thought of them yet. But
Okay.
and I'm interested to know yours because yours is one I'll probably expect a yes from, but a no from multiple other people.
Oh, boy.
No, you'll understand why when I ask it. You'll be
Okay.
like, "Oh, okay," but okay.
So I'm going to be the guinea pig on the question.
Yes,
at the
you
end.
are the first one.
Yes. All right.
Unfortunately, I only have one though.
That's all right.
I want to have 3 to 5, but
You might think of one.
I'll come up with some more, and I want people to maybe let me know what they'd want to hear me ask.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But okay, today I wanted to kind of hear your testimony,
Okay.
how you got to where you are today, with as much detail as you're willing to give, and as far back as you're willing to go.
Okay.
I want to hear that. I think it's interesting, and you seem to be in a great spot now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I feel like we got to talk college football,
Oh, absolutely.
maybe high school. I don't know a whole lot about high school ball right now, except Seneca.
Yeah.
You told me about them.
They played today.
Yeah, that did. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they win or lose?
They lost. 34-42. I think it was.
That close.
Yeah. 34.
Actually, you know what? This is why I have the computer here.
You know what? I've got it right here on my phone.
Do you?
Yeah, because that's right here in my pocket.
He's got it pulled up already. That is recording.
So, Seneca lost 48-34.
Seneca did.
Seneca lost
38 to what?
48-34.
48 to 34.
Yeah. Seneca scored 22 points in the third quarter alone.
Wow.
Yeah. And before that, it was 42-26.
Now who'd they play?
They played. I've got that here on my phone also.
And this wasn't.
Yeah, this was the state championship.
Oh, this
game.
was state.
Yes.
Oh man.
They were playing Park Hill Central Warriors.
Never even heard of them.
I haven't either. But apparently they could throw the ball exceptionally well.
Probably, yeah. If you're going to state, you probably can.
Yeah. So,
Dang.
but yeah, they ended up losing, and but it was. I'm sure it was a good game because Seneca always plays good ball.
Yeah. Now, I remember you telling me that they were going to go play that team up by St. Louis, and I was like, oh, they're going to get stomped, and then they ended up beating them.
Saint Poi. That's how you pronounce it. It's Poi.
Poi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saint Poi.
Probably
yeah.
French.
They smoked them. It was
Yeah, you said it was actually kind of a blowout.
Yeah, it was like 44-13 or something like that.
Yeah, that surprised me. And then you're a big Texas fan.
Oh, hardcore.
Where did you come from, Texas?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay, you're just cowboy.
Well, you want to hear the story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, here we go. So when I turned 18, that was like kind of, I'd been like 2 years into my rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get a tattoo, and my folks was like pretty strict Christian people, and they thought tattoos was the devil and the sin and stuff like that. And so when I turned 18, I was gonna get a tattoo. Now, mind you, I haven't, I lived on a farm my whole life, and I didn't really get off of it much because there was a lot to do.
So you did grow up like country, cowboy on a farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad actually drove a truck for Just a Boot, and he ended up driving it for like 35 years, I think. But he was gone a lot, and whenever I was old enough to take care of the cattle, that was my job.
Yeah.
Is taking care of the cattle while he was gone. So I'd have to gather them all. I'd have to have buddies come over and give them shots and work them, and vaccinate, castrate bulls. And then when it comes sell time, I'd have to meet a guy early in the morning before school and load him up on a trailer and send him to market. And
damn.
yeah, I mean, I did it all. And and Dad, he just kind of got to reap the benefits of it. But I always give him a hard time about it now. That,
So you still have your dad?
yeah, I still have my dad.
Good,
yeah.
good.
But anyway, so I wanted a tattoo, and I went to a tattoo parlor down there in Cassville. I think it was open for like 6 or 8 months, maybe a little longer than that. And I didn't know nothing about a tattoo, so I'm flipping through this book, and it's a bunch of skulls and hearts and crosses and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I don't really want that. And I started. And then he had a Kansas City Chief arrowhead. I'll never forget it, and I've always kind of been a Chiefs fan because I'm Missouri.
I have 2 of those on me.
Chief tattoos?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I did one myself, and then I got one over here. Yeah.
And so I'm flipping through, and he had a Texas Longhorn, and which is the Texas Longhorns logo, and I was like, oh, there we go. I said, there's something country, kind of cowboyish.
Yeah.
So I got it on my left shoulder up high. So when I wore a shirt, it would kind of be hid.
Right.
And then after I got it, like it was like 2 days, I was like, well, I guess I might as well start liking Texas Longhorns.
Just because you got them tattooed. Yeah.
And ever since, I've been a diehard.
Hey, that's a good way.
Through the good and through the bad. In 2005 I was happy, but I think that was last year I was happy.
That's when they won the
National championship.
Who was the
Vince
quarterback?
Vince Young.
Vince Young. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last time. Except this year. This year I'm pretty happy.
Let's see. Are they even ranked?
Yeah, we're number 7 right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, but after this weekend, I think Oregon's going to lose, and I think I really want Michigan to lose, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good.
But there's so the top 4 teams are going to be playing each other for their conference championship.
Well,
so whoever loses is going to have to go down, and that's going to bump us up.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. But the college playoffs for the past year or 2 have been the top 4, right? Because it used to be top 2.
Yeah.
How long has it been top 4? It hasn't been very long, right?
I don't. Probably 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Maybe.
Which I agree with. And I heard they're going to 8.
They're going to 12.
12. See, I think they should do 16, but
Yeah, they're going to 12 next.
12's pretty good.
But see, next year Texas is going to be in the SEC.
Where are they in now?
Big 12.
Big 12?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to SEC.
Money.
Yeah, money.
Yeah. Better recruit system, and there's a lot of big schools in the SEC. Missouri switched. They used to be Big 12.
And they're doing quite well.
They are.
Last I looked, they were 9.
Yep.
Are they still 9?
Yeah, they're still 9. They're going to be playing, or I don't know if they're going to be playing tomorrow or not. I don't know.
I need to get the ESPN app on this thing. Then I can just look that up real quick.
What's crazy, my boy, he's like, I don't know how he does it, but you can ask him any question, and he just knows it. College football or pro. He can tell you stats of players, how big they are, where they went to college.
Super
in
into
the
that.
NFL, I'd be like, hey, Jared, where did so-and-so go to college at? He just, bam.
How old's he?
18, he'll be 18 in February.
Does he play football or anything?
He did, yeah, he did.
Bro, I miss those days.
I do too.
Kids don't realize like how quick it goes. Like even I can think looking back playing football, when we were doing 2-a-days or after school and it was just hot and you're tired and it's like, bro, this shit sucks. I can't wait to go home. Now it's like, bro, I'd give anything to, go back on the field and play again. Like it was so fun.
Yeah.
You just don't think about it as a kid.
This is how country I am. And whenever we had 2-a-days during the summer, I didn't have to condition with the rest of the team.
Because you worked?
Because I was hauling hay. I was hauling square bales.
Oh, so you got to skip out on that part.
Coach Gosh is like, any boys want to go haul hay with Brandon, you guys can skip out on conditioning. And I had a couple guys take me up on it, and they didn't last, so they'd rather run.
My wife's family, well, they used to do that. I think it's slowed down the past couple of years, but they do hay.
Yeah.
Or straw bales. And one year she asked if I wanted to go help, and I was like, oh, not really. But I went and helped, and I was like, holy shit, this is hard work. And what made me feel like really bad is it was all women. Because all the dudes are at work. So it's like the aunts and the cousins, all females that are out there doing it. And we're sitting there, putting them on the trailer, and they're all like, "Hey, would you rather stack and we'll buck?" And I'm like, "No, I feel bad if I make you get down here and walk and buck the bales." They're like, "Oh no, we'd rather do that." They're like, "You're taller, you could stack them higher, it'd be easier." And I was like, "Ugh, I felt bad. It was way easier stacking."
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know about hay. I've never done hay bales, but
I mean, they're heavier.
yeah, they're much heavier,
Yeah.
right? They're like 60 or 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always had I always had a crew. Sometimes I'd have my own crew, and then I had a buddy that had a crew, and one of the rules was the stacker reloads if it falls off. So nobody ever wanted to stack in case she's driving down the road and it fell off. Some of them fell off because whoever stacks it on the trailer's got to reload it.
Wait, the other guys wouldn't help?
No.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to stack then.
That way, but it makes your stacker do a good job.
Yeah.
Because one time of that, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you dumped a whole load on the road.
Yeah.
No way.
I got a story about hauling straw one time. So I was, if I think for a minute, I could probably tell you. It was around 2009 probably. I had a guy that I worked in high school for on his farm, and he had a feed store down in town. And there was a guy that planted a bunch of wheat, and he was harvesting it, and Roy bought the straw off of him. He said, "I'll give you so much a bale, for the straw." Mm-hmm. And Roy asked me if I'd haul it, and I said, "Sure." Well, I had me a crew. I had me and two other guys. And the day before they went to bale it, one of the guys backed out. And I was like, that's all right. It'll still be two guys, And the day they bailed it, I called he was like my brother. He actually committed suicide a few years after that. But I tried calling him, dude. He wouldn't answer his phone. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So I drove to his house. He wasn't home, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that little cotton picker. So I even called my dad. And me and my dad, we have a great relationship, but it's how it is working with your dad.
I worked with my dad a long time.
It seems like there's a lot of tension there, and
I never had that.
You never did. Well, you were blessed.
I worked with my dad from as a kid. I'll get back to your story real quick. But as a kid, I worked with him on and off, and then from 18 to right before I came to Steel Tech, I'd work with him.
Really,
we never experienced that.
Wow, you were blessed.
Yeah.
Me and my dad. I mean, we worked good together for a minute. It seems like, and then he's kind of set in his ways and I'm set in mine, and then there's always the conflict. But I even resorted to calling him to come help. And he's like, "No, I can't do it no more, Brandon. I can't." And I was like, "Fine." So I just bit the bullet, and I was like, "All right, let's go do this, Roy." And I said, "How many are there?" And he's like, 1,983. I was like, "That's
for two guys."
No, for one.
One guy.
He was going to drive the truck.
He was going to drive. Oh, no.
And I said, "I tell you what," I said, "I'll haul them for 75 cents a bale, since it's me by myself. If we get one of those loaders that you hook on the side of the trailer, mm-hmm. You hook a chain on a sprocket and it carries the bales up on a loader
to the trailer.
Yeah, and you just grab them off of it and stack them." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Well, let me see if I can find one." So he found one, and I hauled 1,987 bales in 2 nights.
Dang. That's a lot. Was it hay or straw?
Straw.
Still. That's insane.
It was terrible.
And you had to unload them.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we had to unload them down at the feed store.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I've got a funny story about unloading the hay. We always took it back. It wasn't very far, quarter mile, half mile. We were taking it back to their barn where they stack it and store it in the barn. And I mean, it gets, I would say the top of it was probably good 20, 25 feet, maybe a little higher. It was pretty high. And we're just kind of like, working our way down slowly. And my wife's aunt was trying to get up towards the top. They wanted me towards the bottom so I could just throw them as high as I could. And then they didn't have to carry them or throw them as high. Mm-hmm. And so she's trying to get up the hay bales or straw bales, and she can't get to the next one. And I'm standing right behind her, and she's like, "Help!" And I mean, all that's in my face is her ass. And I'm like, I'm doing this number. Everyone behind me is just cracking up because I'm like, I don't know where to push. I don't even remember what happened, but I know I didn't grab her and push. I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't have anywhere to push you.
Kind of awkward moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we still talk about it to this day. They're like, you remember that time we were hauling straw? Yeah, that give me crap over it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up more like redneckish,
Yeah.
and you grew up more cowboyish farmer.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're kind of similar, but you probably did like a lot more work. I didn't have to do anything like that growing up. We didn't live on a farm. We lived out in the country.
Yeah.
So, like I think redneck, there's like redneck, hillbilly, and cowboy, and you're more of a cowboy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely a cowboy.
I try to, yeah. To me, cowboy, is, yeah, it is a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a title, but it's more of a lifestyle, I guess is what I should have said. Cowboy's not just rodeo, cowboys, in my heart, have a lot of integrity. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of humbleness about them. It's cowboys always help each other out. A real cowboy, you know what I mean? But then you have like cowboys that do the rodeo, mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a cowboy, you know what I mean? But he's not really.
What if it's a cowboy that like has a farm, works on the farm, and rodeos?
Absolutely, he's hardcore.
But then there's you're saying there's cowboys that are just, what do they call them? Like belt buckle
bunnies?
Well, that's the chicks.
That's the chicks, yeah.
Yeah. The dudes, but they're basically just, they want to.
They're just in it for the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, buckles and spurs and, the money. Mm-hmm. Because, you can make a living at it.
Right.
Which, I'll talk about that here a little bit later on.
Were you big into watching bull riding?
Oh, yeah.
I always like watching it. I could think of one person, JB Mooney. That's like all I could tell you.
Yeah, I like him. He's probably my favorite guy to watch.
Greatest of all time?
Ooh.
He's got a lot of titles now.
Yeah, I don't know if he's up there. There's so many legends.
Right.
Lane Frost.
Lane Frost, yeah, great movie.
Ty Murray.
I don't know him.
Laramie Marchi.
Don't know him.
Chris Shivers. Donnie Gay.
See, I don't know what to know. I like watching it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about
those
it.
guys. Those guys are all hands. They're good at riding bulls.
Is it wrong of me to have this opinion? I think the dudes that only wear cowboy hats are just way more badass. I think wearing the helmet makes you a puss. And
yeah.
I've never been on a bull, so I have no right saying that. I don't know if I would get on a bull without the helmet, but it's like I see the dudes with a helmet, and then I see the dude like the Brazilians that mainly just wear the cowboy hats. And I'm like, that's a cowboy.
Yeah.
Just wearing the cowboy hat.
Well, have you ever seen how them crazy bastards ride bulls?
They're really good. The Brazilians are very good.
That's like Emilio at work. I was talking to him. They don't even use hands down there.
On how they do it?
Yeah. They just stand on top of the chute and drop down, and as soon as your butt hits the bull, they open the gate. And you just hook with your spurs, and you're just like flopping around everywhere. You never seen that?
No, I haven't. I've seen some of the Mexican rodeo stuff that's different. Like one thing I've seen them do that I like is that rope burning.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That I think is very cool. I don't know what the point of it is, but
I don't either.
It looks cool.
It does it looks very cool.
But I don't know if they're scoring that or if it's just for.
I think. I know. Whenever if you get it dallied good enough and your horn pops off. Everybody yells really good and like hoops and hollers. I don't know if that's the object of the game or if that's just,
you finally burn it down enough.
Yeah. But like before they put their rope around it, you can see it's black.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just rawhide generally.
Mm-hmm.
And, after so many times, it's obviously going to pop off. So,
right.
I don't know.
Have you ever ridden a bull?
No. I'll never ride anything that has bigger nuts than I have.
So you couldn't ride a bull?
I wouldn't.
But you've, what is that called?
Bulldogging?
Bulldogging.
Yeah.
You've bulldogged.
Yeah.
But they're considerably smaller.
Oh, yeah. The biggest one I ever did was probably 700 pounds. Mm-hmm. And that was believe it or not, it was at a July 4th rodeo at Seymour, Missouri. And
did you jump off a horse? Because I've seen the dudes that like ride the horse and then jump down on them.
I've got a couple buddies that Todd Bowser, he's an OG bulldogger. Like he was running PRCA in the late 70s, early 80s.
Wow.
And won a lot of money and was really good at it. And he wants me so bad to jump off a horse on one. And Tim Mason, he's talked to me about it, and I'm just like, man, I'm too fat and old.
What if you miss?
I know that's the whole thing right there. Is if you miss, like, dude, it hurts. I know it's got to, because I mean, you're running 45 mile an hour on a horse and just go to a dead stop and eating earth, and I'm like, I don't know.
Do you wear a vest?
No
vest.
No.
Because they have horns. They have to for you to get them down.
Yeah. The only thing about bulldogging I know, and this is just because of what little bit I have talked to a few guys about, is like whenever you leave the box and you're coming up on one, and you can even watch it on TV, like you don't lean with your top half, you lean with your butt, like your butt slides down the side of the horse, and your hands like this running down his back, and as soon as you grab his horns is whenever your feet fall off the horse, and then so they hit first.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're really sitting in this chair, running 40 miles an hour, and the steer's just dragging you. And so, like when your feet's dragging, the steer's trying to run, obviously, and then this is where shoot dogging comes into play, which I've done that a lot.
What's shoot dogging?
It's basically the same thing with no horse.
Oh, okay. Like this is what you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever you got a hold of the steer and your feet are planted, he's trying to run forward, okay, but his head can't go nowhere because you've got it locked in right here. So his butt has to go somewhere.
So he wants to like start doing a circle.
Well, it's like physics, you know what I mean? It has to either go to the left or to the right. And theoretically, you want it to go to the right. And as soon as the steer's like parallel to you, that's whenever he's weakest, and that's whenever you grab his nose and throw him. Just lean back and throw him.
Oh, you grab their nose?
Yeah.
I thought it was all by the horns.
Nope.
Oh.
The only time you grab a horn is your right arm. Whenever you put his horn right there in the bend of your elbow and lock it in, and as soon as you lock it in and bring your fist up to your chin, it kind of turns his head up, and he'll give you his nose, is what it's called, and his nose and mouth will be sticking up, and then you take your left hand and he'll put like his nose on your wrist, and just roll back and fall down.
And it's all about who can do it the fastest.
Yeah.
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 What's a good time?
In shoot dogging?
Yeah.
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
Yeah.
Would most of the guys be your size doing that?
Yeah.
You're not getting any dudes 180 pounds out there trying to do it.
Well, there is some, and they're pretty good. It's all timing and technique.
Yeah. Weight's got to help a little bit.
It does. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if the faster you can slow that steer's head down, the faster your time's going to be.
Right.
So, if you're only 180 pounds, you got to make sure and really dig your heels in the ground and kind of actually pull his head back to you.
Right.
To make his butt come around quicker to throw him.
What was one of your best times?
My best ever was 1.03.
You just said a really good time was 4.
That's probably you could place with a 4-second run. You know what I mean?
But you've done one in just over a second?
1.03, yeah. My best time I ever had.
Holy shit. That sounds really good. What would be like a world record?
I don't know, probably close to that, if there was one.
Brandon's over here like, I got the world record.
I might have it, you know what I mean? No, actually, no, I take that back, because there was a guy that ran the double B that beat me. He had a 1.01. So.
Wow. That seems insanely fast to it's steer down.
That fast.
Are they? No, it wouldn't be a full grown steer, but it's a steer.
Yeah, they're 500 pounds. You know,
it's not like it's a bull that's still growing.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Some people might not even know what that is. You want to educate people?
A bull and a steer.
Yeah.
So a bull.
We might have some city folk watching. They're like, they thought they were all called cows.
Yeah. So to be a bull, it don't have to have horns. First and foremost, that's the common misconception. And even myself, my son, he thought that for a long time.
Right.
If it had horns, it was a bull. That's not true.
Right.
Okay. If it's got a big old set of nuts between its legs, it's a bull.
It's a bull. Yep.
If it has like a place on its navel where a penis comes out, which is where it pees, but no nuts, that's a steer. So that's a male with no nuts.
Right.
Okay. And then a heifer is a young female cow, obviously has 2 holes in the back. And then a cow is a mature female that has had a calf.
Yep.
So
You'd be surprised how a lot of people just don't know that.
and I take
But
that
they
for
don't grow up
granted.
around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing. It's like, it'd be nice if people, like city people, watch this and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I never even knew that's what the difference was." Because you hear people all the time just they're all cows.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not all cows.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that cow. Look at that cow bucking on TV. That's a bull.
That's a beautiful cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely never grew up doing that. Like, when I think redneck, I think like you like drinking beer around a campfire, you like fishing, hunting, trucks, stuff like that. And then weirdly enough, when I think hillbilly, I don't take that as a compliment. Like, I take redneck as a compliment. I like that. But when I think hillbilly, I think of some toothless guy down in Arkansas making out with his cousin.
Okay.
That's what I think of hillbilly.
So hillbilly is like a blue collar redneck.
No, I wouldn't say blue collar redneck. I think rednecks are blue collar. I don't know, because I've even had people say that to me before, like, "Oh, you're a hillbilly." I'm like, "No, I'm not a hillbilly. I'm a redneck." There's a difference to me, not to all people.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I've always thought that.
I see what you're saying. Like, never go to town and
Right.
secluded,
Right. Very
being all
secluded.
recluse and stuff. Yeah.
Now, them hillbillies do good stuff. They make good shine.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
Really good shine.
That might be about it. Probably make some nice log cabins,
Probably.
living off the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing against them. I just don't make out with my cousin, and I have all my teeth.
Right.
For now.
Yeah.
I do dip, so that'll probably change.
Yeah. Luckily, I got all mine too.
Now, how comfortable are you talking about, like, well, when I say give your testimony, I don't know, that to me is like how you came to be, because you're saved, and so when I think that, I'm guessing that just means like how you started, how you got to that point. I mean, how comfortable are you talking about that?
I'm very.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good.
So you've already told me when you were a kid, you were helping on the farm. So you had a pretty good childhood, it sounds like?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you had a good childhood. I did too. I mean, I didn't experience any of this. We started drinking in like middle school, dipping middle school, smoking cigarettes maybe middle school, might have been high school. Didn't do drugs until after. Like, I'd smoked marijuana. That's as far as I can think, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've ever done. So I don't really have anything like that. But like, I know Moses, he's talked to me a lot before. So it's just, I don't know. I just want to hear that, like, how, like, okay, where did all of it start happening for you?
Okay. So, yeah, I grew up on a farm, and I was always busy, between schoolwork and raising cattle and football, and I ran track, and I was in choir. So
Really?
Yeah.
I was church choir or like school?
School choir.
School choir.
Yeah, I was in school regular choir.
Let's hear some right now.
What do you want to hear?
What do you want to hear? Can you sing?
I don't know. I mean, I
don't know.
I don't like to brag, you know what I mean? So
Jeez.
I'm not a boastful person.
Yeah, it sounds like you can sing.
So I was in regular choir, and then I was also in swing choir, which
I don't know what that is.
swing choir is, there was a group, there was about 20 of us, 18 or 20 of us, but we did like dance routines and sang at the same time. And we would go to like competitions and stuff and So, I mean,
I would never have guessed this, Brandon. I would never have guessed this.
Yeah.
The singing, dancing cowboy.
Yeah.
Okay, this is awesome.
Yep. How you think I get all the women? No, I'm just kidding.
Singing and dancing and cowboy.
It definitely helps. No, but yeah. So I was super busy doing all that. So I mean, I really didn't. And I worked at a livestock auction since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad, he used to work at a little one called in Wheaton, and so, and you know, I would always go to work with him, and I would always sit in the sell ring and watch him sell, and I was always fascinated with the auctioneer, and and so anyway, one day I finally got my opportunity, and Dad and the owner, he said, you know, well, liability's like you're going to get hurt, you know, because you're just a kid. So they would let me push in. They sold hogs and goats and baby calves at first, and before at the very beginning of the sale. So I got to help them do that. You know, I'd sell pigs, goats, and baby calves. And after that was over, then I'd have to go and sit in the crowd.
And start bringing out the big ones.
Yeah. And so that went on for a little while. And my dad, he gave me like $5 or $10 every sale, you know. And of course, I was 7 years old, you know, so I thought it was a cool thing.
Right.
And but anyway, time went on, and I got to where I could actually work the wholesale, you know, and I worked on the pinback side, which that's after they sell. You know, you'll have somebody like writing down like who bought it and what pin number they went. That way, in case they buy more, you can put all their cattle in that one pin. Makes it easier to load out. And started doing that, and then when I got a little older, I don't know, probably 12 or 13, I got to go over there with my dad, which his job was like sorting the cattle before they sold, like sexing them, sizing them, colors. You know, if you don't want a spotted calf on like a black or a red, you know, it's just spotted calves for some reason don't bring the same amount of money. Once the hide's off, you can't really tell what they look like. But
Right.
Anyway, that's a preference I have. So anyway, so I got to do that. But anyway, so I was super busy working and school and
Right.
my entire life, and started chewing like actually at the sale barn, you know, because that's just something you do.
Yep. Cowboy
And,
shit.
right? You know, I can't even smell cow manure now without putting a dip in. I mean, it's just
Right.
something that goes hand in hand.
Yep.
And so, anyway, my junior year in high school, I got hurt playing football, and
Bad or?
yeah, I was playing Mount Vernon, and it was at home, and they was running a sweep play, and I was the weak side outside linebacker. So I ran all the way across the field, and I overran him, and had time to like turn and come down the sideline, and me and their tailback was like basically playing chicken, and I was going to take his head off, and he was going to take my head off, and anyway, we collided, and I actually broke my jaw, got 3 concussions.
3?
Yeah, I had 3 spots on my brain where my brain was like bruised. I don't know if they was all from then or could have been previous ones, but that's what showed up on the CAT scan.
Wow.
So I was out the rest of the season, and you know, I started drinking a lot then, just because I didn't really have anything else to do because I wasn't playing football and I was depressed, and, you know, hanging out with the wrong people type thing.
Right.
Ended up getting in a fight, and I broke my hand, my right hand. That's what that scar right there is from.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, and I went home and told my mom, Dad, I got in a fight, you know, and Mom was like, we'll look at it in the morning, you know, because it's like 1:30 in the morning when I got home. And
Wait, and you're still in school?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My curfew's midnight, you know. She was already mad that I was home late, and she was. But anyway, I went to the doctor, and they put me on pain meds, Vicodin, and so I was, you know, I wasn't a drug addict then, and
But at this point, you're 17, 18, somewhere in there.
yeah, and and I was just taking them normal, you know, it's like I was supposed to, like 1 every 4 or 6 hours if there's pain, you know what I mean? I didn't even know you could get addicted to pain pills. That's how naive I was. Until one day, a buddy of mine was like, "Hey," he's like, "They give you pain medicine for that?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "How many you got?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 40." And he's like, "Bro," he's like, "I'll buy those off you for $5 a piece." And I'm like, what? So in my mind starts clicking, you know, and I'm like, why does he want to pay me $5 for these pain pills?
Right.
There's what's going on here? So I thought about it for a minute and I couldn't think of anything. So I finally asked him, I said, why do you want to pay me for these pills? And he's like, dude, popping pills makes you feel like Superman. I said, no.
Because you had been taking them and not really feeling that.
Yeah. And I was like, well, what do you mean? I said, I take them all the time and I don't feel anything. He's like, well, you got to take more than you're supposed to take. Mm-hmm. So me being the experiment scientist that I am,
all in the name of science,
I went home and I took 3 of them.
Instead of one.
Mm-hmm. And woof. I was like, this is what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, I had the whole nose itching and, you know, just, pain pills amp me up anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, wow, this is great. You know? So, and this was all my junior year, right?
Yeah.
So then my senior year rolls around and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to go out with a bang anyway. This is my senior year. And, so I started, you know, hanging out with my buddies a lot more because I was like, hey, this is cool. You know, thank you for introducing me to this. And
to the pain pills?
Yeah.
Right.
And which at the time, I didn't even think it was, I had no idea what it was going to progress into. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody had told me. It was a thing that, you know, my family, we knew nothing about. We didn't talk about it because we never were faced with that. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, my senior year, that's whenever I guess I got into the drug world, mm-hmm. you know, because I was having to go to somebody's house and pay them money for a prescription pill that didn't belong to me.
Right.
You know.
Which back then, a lot more people had those.
Right.
It's not like now.
I mean, they
don't give them away.
Yeah, they were just like Pez dispensers, you know what I mean? Like that song by Nickelback, popping pills from a Pez dispenser, mm-hmm. like that. Yeah, back in the day, it was like that. Do I need to copyright that so I don't get in trouble?
No, you're good. Okay. I think you're good. We just can't play it.
And so that then, you know, like in football, because like I said, they amped me up, you know. So I'd be out there on the football field, dude. I wouldn't feel nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I had all this energy, you know, and by this time, you know, because I mean, this is like almost a year later. You know, I've got a tolerance built up. I mean, I was just eating fistfuls of these things, like 10 or 12 at a time.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, because three, I would be like, man, why am I not feeling it like I did? And I was like, well, I'll just take more. You know, which that's what opiates does. You build up a tolerance to them. Mm-hmm. And so I just took more and more and more. And yeah, dude, like it was nothing for me to pop 8 or 10 or 12 at a time before a game. And I would always chew them up, you know, and get that all chalky taste in my mouth. And mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, so that's whenever it all started. Okay. And one of the guys that I got pills from, which this is terrible, but this is how drug addicts think. You know what I mean? He was disabled, and he didn't take pain pills as much as I did. Like, I mean, he had them.
He had the prescription, but he wasn't really taking them.
Yeah. I mean, he would take them every once in a while if he was having a bad day. Mm-hmm. You know, if he was hurting. This guy's confined to a wheelchair, motorized wheelchair all the time, you know. I mean, and I still talk to him today. I mean, we're still good friends, you know what I mean? I've apologized 100 times over for what I've done to him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, it's okay, man, you know. But anyway, so I was getting these pain pills from him. And anyway, one day I was back there in his room, and he opened up his medicine cabinet, and he had like, I don't even know, like, I would say 30 bottles of a medicine. Like they were all full. And I'm like, what are those? And he told me, he said they were Valium, and which is a muscle relaxer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I said, I don't think I need those. I was like, what do you go do with those anyway? You know? And he's like, I don't take them. He said, they mess me up too much. He's like, I can't do nothing. I sit there and drool out of my mouth. And, you know, he's like, the doctor gives them to me every month, you know? So I started asking some questions about Valium to my friends that was pill poppers. Mm-hmm. And they said that, well, they're pretty good. You know, they make you feel all right, you know, especially if somebody's into that kind of thing.
More of the downer.
Yeah. And me being the scientist, or not really scientist, entrepreneur that I am also,
Right.
I was like, what are they worth? And he told me, you know, he's like, oh, $3 or $4 a piece, you know. And I was like, dude, that guy had a lot of those in there. So then it became a business. So I went to my buddy and I said, hey, I'll take all those off you. And I don't know, I would say it was probably somewhere around 2,000 pills, or maybe even 2,500 pills is what I had.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I had the supply. I just needed to find the demand. And I thought, he didn't even charge me for these, so anything I make off this is profit.
He just gave them to you.
Yeah. So I said, I'm going to undercut the guy, all the other guys, and I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to sell them for $2 a piece. You know, so I'm looking at $4,000 in my pocket. Pretty good come up. And anyway, so that went on for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months.
You weren't taking them.
No.
Didn't have any interest in them.
Well, I tried them. You know what I mean? Excuse me. I tried them, but I just they brought me down too much. And I'm a uppity up guy anyway.
Yeah, I have them for my back, and now my doctor like realizes that it's like an ongoing thing. So he gives them to me when I need a refill, but they last me quite a while. I don't take them very often, but yeah, like if I'm hurting real bad, like I tweak my back or something, I'll take 2. And yeah, you're 30 minutes. You're like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
I gotta go to sleep.
that's not me. That's not me at all. So I was selling these things, like I said, for 6 or 8 months, and you know, he would get his prescription refilled every month, and I'd go over to his house and I'd get me some pain pills, and I'd get his bottle of Valium that he had. And one day, a kid at school, you know, which I sold a lot during school, you know, between classes, after classes, before school and after school, and whatnot. But anyway, this kid, he comes up to me and he said, hey man, he's like, can I get 10 of those? And I said, yeah, which I'd sold to him before. And, and now, you know, I know what I'm doing. You know, I mean, I'm selling drugs. You know what I mean?
You're aware of it.
I do. You know, so I mean, I was conscious about who I sold to. You know, very careful. You know, and if I didn't know you, or if I didn't think I could trust you, I mean, I wasn't going to do it. And anyway, so I'd sold to this kid before, and he told me, he's like, here's the thing. He's like, I don't have money. And I'm like, no, you're out. I said, I'm not going to do this front thing. You know, I'm about the cash.
Right.
You know, if you got it, we'll do business. If not, just go right on. He's like, well, hold on. He's like, but I've got this. He's like, I'll trade you. And I said, what is it? He said, meth. Now, mind you, I had never even seen meth.
You'd heard about it.
I may have heard about it a couple of times. You know what I mean? Like, because I thought dope was marijuana for a long time. You know what I mean? But so I was like, nah. I said, I'm good. I said, I don't do none of that stuff anyway. And oddly enough, the guy that got me, my buddy that got me on the pills, I went to him and I told him, I said, hey, so and so's got X amount of meth and they want 10 pills, you know, and I'm like, so that's like $20. And he's wanting to trade me this half a gram of dope. And I said, what's that? I said, what's that worth? And he's like, that's worth $50. And I'm like, okay, $30 profit on top of what I was going to make. I said, oh, okay. So I said, I need to do this. I said, can you get rid of that for me? And he said, oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. So I back to him and we made the transaction. And I handed my buddy the dope and I said, here, get rid of this for me and give me the $50. I said, I'll give you 10 for doing it. And he's like, I really think we ought to do this. We ought to do this
Instead of selling it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, what's it do? And he's like, dude, he said, it's a whole nother level. And I'm like, more than the pain pills? And he's like, dude, you mix them two together. And he's like, it's
Mix
legit.
them.
Yeah. like, like take some pain pills and then do some dope, and you get the both.
Right.
And I was like, no, I said, I'm not all about that, but that happens later on in my story. But I told him, I said, well, all right, we'll try it, and that's when my life changed forever.
When you tried it.
When I tried meth.
Now, meth can be smoked or snorted.
Or injected or ate.
Oh, that's right, or injected.
Yep.
Okay, so lots of different ways to do it.
Yeah, now they have this thing called boofing. Have you heard of that? That's when it goes up your butt.
I bet that's a pretty good experience. It's supposed to be with alcohol. It's supposed to get you drunk quick.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
You've done it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the story. Keep going.
Yeah. So then once I tried meth, I was like, wow, and
This is still high school.
yeah, this was my senior year in high school. And, so I get in trouble. I actually, the kid that I sold to, as a matter of fact, I don't know the time frame, but it was a few months later, was actually, I got called to the principal's office. And I was like, what the world's this for? And when I walked by the nurse's station, that kid's laying in there on the cot, just dead to the world. And I'm like, what in the world is he doing? And he had took too many pills, and he just was nodding out in class and couldn't function. And they knew something was wrong with him, so they sent him to the nurse's office. And anyway, short story long, they played tapes back, and they found out that me and him was in contact about 30 minutes prior to this. And yeah, so I get called in the office, and they go through all my stuff, and I had him hid pretty good, I was a crafty little fella, and they looked through everything, and they said, well, Brandon, we're sorry that we even accused you of this, because mind you, I'm playing football, I'm making excellent grades, like dealing drugs is
You're
in their
the choir.
mind.
I mean, you're
farthest thing from their mind.
You're not a drug dealer.
And so they thought.
Right.
And they said, well, we're sorry that, we even thought this about you, And then they told me why I was in there. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'll never forget it. The assistant principal was one that told me that. And the main principal was like, wait a minute, did we look in here? And I knew that if they looked in there, they would find him. But they were still going to have to dig for him, even then. And so I was like sitting there in the chair, and I didn't want to be like, oh, yeah, you did.
Right.
Or I didn't want to be like, no, you didn't. So I just sat there with my mouth shut, and they ended up finding him.
Where'd you have him?
In my binder. In one of those zip-up binders, And I took a knife, and I cut the inside of it, and they were back in behind there. But anyway, I had 187 individual pills in the Ziploc bag at school.
Yeah.
And they called the law, obviously. And I was a senior, and I was, let's see, I would have been 18 then, and because this was in May, like 10 days before I graduated.
Oh man, why'd the kid take him while he was at school?
It's just how they. You know how they are. Kids just, if you got them, you can do them. You know what I mean? And anyway, so they cuffed me and took me down to Berry County Jail, and my mom and grandma and all my family, they got me a lawyer. I ended up having to do some community service, and I was on 5 years of probation. And it was pretty scary. You know what I mean? 18-year-old kid being handcuffed to the wall down at Berry County. And I got on probation, and I walked that out. Every UA they gave me, I was clean. And because it wasn't my lifestyle. That wasn't my lifestyle. And so I got in Missouri, they if you're good for 30 days, they take 30 days off the back.
Every 30 days?
Yeah, so like if you don't have any violations for 30 days, they take 30 days off the back. So basically what happens is you meet in the middle, and
So
you get off
about
of 2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
And so 2.5 years, I get off probation, and I was seeing this girl. Actually, so yeah, we were married. We got married, actually, I guess. She got pregnant with our son, and we got married. And anyway, I got off probation, and she wanted to move back to Oklahoma, be close to her mom. And
You're still in Cassville right now.
yeah, and I'm still in Cassville. And so I thought, that'd be kind of cool, just get away from here and kind of start over type deal. Anyway, so we moved just outside of Oklahoma City, between Shawnee and Oklahoma City. And I was delivering water there and for a while in Oklahoma City. And then I started out making copper tubing for like refrigeration and air conditioning systems. That's what I started out doing. And anyway, I lived down there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And she didn't believe in polygamy. Is that it? Polygamy, where it's just one
Monogamy.
Monogamy.
Okay, so she didn't want to be monogamous.
Yeah.
I think I said that right. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So she started. I couldn't keep the cow in the pasture.
Right.
That's how us cowboys say it. And anyway, she was on the verge of getting caught, and she was freaking out and getting scared, So, like, literally overnight, she's like, "I think we should move back to Missouri."
Just to get away from what she'd been doing.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I guess, whatever." So we load all of our stuff up, and we come back to Missouri, and it wasn't long after that we're split up because she couldn't stop doing what she was doing. But anyway, and I'm still sober, right? I'm still sober. So for, I don't know what the time frame was. It was probably 3 years or 4 years. I was clean and doing my thing. And one night, a buddy of mine, I went out, kind of, because I was a single dad with 3 kids. And, I worked all the time. I had 2 jobs, and my mom.
Did you have the kids or?
Yeah.
You had the kids?
Yeah. When she left. Like,
Oh, wow.
she didn't want nothing to do with them or me. As a matter of fact, the day in the court, the judge asked her, he's like, do you not want to split, wages, or do you not want child support? She's like, nope. All I care about is getting my last name back. And the judge was like, are you serious? And she said, yeah. And he's like, settled. Case dismissed. So I had
kids
kids.
have anything to do with her?
They talk now. But it's a distant thing. You know what I mean?
I would imagine.
They have a lot of resentment for her.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm working all these jobs, and my mom, she's like, Brandon, you need to quit working so much. She's like, just do yourself a treat. You just go out one night and have some fun. Hang out with some buddies, or if you find a girl, hang out. If you got a girl you've been talking to, hang out with her. So I went to a rodeo, a bull riding actually.
Yeah.
And I ran into a buddy of mine that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I used to run MJRC, which is Missouri Junior Rodeo Circuit. That's when my shoot dogging career took off, and I was a team roper, and I was roping with him in the MJs, and anyway, I ran into him, and dude, his pupils were like the size of $50, and I'm like,
He's on something.
I'm like, dude, are you all right? And he's like, man, I'm jacked. I said, I could tell. And I was like, you got any more? And this has been 3 years later.
Right.
And just that fast, I went, and he's like, well, as a matter of fact, I knew. He's like, come out to the truck. And anyway, we went out to his truck, and I chopped a line up and snorted it, and I was off again.
Coke or meth?
Meth. And it was, and at this time, all those feelings come back, and, and I was just off to the races. And so then, I was hooked again, obviously, and ended up, man, I got so many stories I could tell you about being high, but anyway, I ended up losing my job. Because my body couldn't keep up no more. I mean, I was running that hard,
Right.
and I actually I fell asleep in front of the time clock at work. Yeah, I got to work way early, and like about an hour and a half early, and I was like, man, I need a nap, and I knew that. I mean, I was swerving all over the road, falling asleep while I was driving, seeing things that I wasn't even there, and so I pull up and it was at a turkey farm, and I pulled up and parked, and I walked inside and I laid down right in front of the time clock, and there were 6 Mexicans that worked there, and every one of them clocked in and never even thought to wake me up.
They just walked right.
Yeah,
past
they just
you.
walked right over me. My boss comes in, and Brandon, what are you doing? And I what? And he's like, dude, he's like, if you can't handle this, he's like, let me know. And he's like, we'll do something else. And I said, I was so jacked, and he's like, are you all right? And I said, and I was just honest with him, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I said, I've got a drug problem, and I can't handle it. And they fired me, because I was under the influence at work.
Right.
And it wasn't like Steel Tech, you know what I mean? They didn't take me under my arm and try to help me. They just was done with me. And anyway, so I was a drug addict that was unemployed, and now I needed to figure out how I could support my habit. And I would say 9 out of 10 times that's probably how people become drug dealers.
Just to fund their habit.
Yep. It's as bad as it sounds. I mean, that's the most economical way you can do it. I mean, you'll go broke if you had a habit like I did. I mean, it would blow your mind if you knew how many dollars I just spent or blew, just to get out of bed and function. And so I went to dude's house and I talked to him and I said, hey, here's the deal. I can't support my habit, but I know that a lot of people that do this, and I'm going to help you out, and this is going to help me out in return. And he agreed to that. So I started slinging dope. And that's a whole new world,
Right.
You see things and do things that you never thought you'd do. And a lot of them, there is some things that I'll never talk about, but just the things that I've seen and done, nothing surprises me anymore. Like it's really hard to catch me off guard,
Right.
or to think, wow, that's unusual, or that's crazy, because I mean I've seen so much, but that went on from 2009 to probably 2017. Like whenever I say I was high every day, I was high every day.
Meth being your drug of choice.
Yeah. Never took a day off.
Wow.
Yeah, it was stupid. I got in trouble in 2017. I got pulled over in my dad's truck. I had expired tags, and the cop pulled me over in my driveway. And he followed me all the way to my driveway, and I thought I was good, you know what I mean? As soon as I turned my blinker on to pull my driveway, he flipped the berries and cherries on. So anyway, he this was like 2:00 in the morning, and I had an ink pen laying up on the dash that didn't have no guts to it, that I snorted my dope with, and that's what gave him consent to search.
He saw that.
Yeah. And the good Lord was with me the whole time. Like, he knew that I wasn't going to do it forever. And because there's been times where I've had literally pounds in my possession of meth. And every time I got caught, I had like just a small minute amount, so they couldn't get me for possession with intent to distribute charge.
Just possession.
I could only get possession, which you go to with distribution charges is fed time. So luckily, I mean, it was still a felony, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been, you know. And so whenever he pulled me over, he searched the truck and found a couple of bags, empty bags that was under the seat that I had no idea was even there. My dad's driving around in this truck, and and I felt terrible,
right?
And anyway, he tested the pin, the residue in the pin. He stuck a piece of wire down in there and scraped all of it out, and because it had a lot of residue in it, because I'd been using it for years, and anyway, he tested it and it showed up positive, coming positive for methamphetamine, and so they took me in, and that's when I went to the Dream Center. I was in county for 30 some days, and I got OR'd out, and I swore I was done with it then, and
this isn't the end of the story.
Oh no.
Oh
okay. No. Yeah, I don't know what your time frame is, but I mean,
no, I can't even tell. We're just at an hour, so we got time. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's so much stuff I didn't even say. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this is the gist of it.
Okay, so you went to the Dream Center, which I know of the Dream Center through. Well, my sister was there. Moses, my brother-in-law, my sister's wife, he was there. Both of them ended up becoming leads or leader. I don't know what they call, but was Moses was there when you went there?
Yeah,
he was a pastor or a leader of some type.
Yeah, he was Pastor Tony's assistant.
Yeah, Pastor Tony. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I met Moses.
Okay.
So I went to the.
What about Sabrina?
I knew Sabrina through Moses, obviously.
But she had already been through.
She'd already been through.
Okay.
She would come to church. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she would come to Sunday service, and
we probably ran into each other then at some point. Did you go to Freedom?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't go there often, but I mean, I went there occasionally, and I'm sure we bumped into each other there once or something.
If you went to a service at Freedom between December of 2017 and December of 2019, you seen me.
Mm-hmm. Had to have.
Yeah. Because I had to go to everyone. You know what I mean? It was part of the deal,
right?
So I get OR'd out, and I go to the Dream Center, which is where I met Moses, and and I swore then I was going to be done. Because it was a very intense discipleship program. Some people call it a rehab or whatever, and you might consider it a rehab type thing, but mainly it's just it's a discipleship program is what it is. But and to give you a little bit of background is I grew up in church,
right?
So I knew what not to do, and I knew what I was doing was wrong. I just couldn't quit, and that's the things. One of the things that drugs and my chemical compound that I'm made up of is, it's just, that's something that feeds, and it's not good, and you have to realize that, which I do now, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I go to the Dream Center, and I'm there for 12 months, which it was so much fun, I look back on it now, and it was one of the fastest years of my life, because we had ropings all the time, and I actually borrowed a horse, and I'd enter the team ropings down there, and Pastor Tony would always give me a hard time, be like, now if you win, you got to tithe 10% of that to the church. So, but it was a lot of fun, because I got to work with horses, and I actually built a corral for Pastor Tony on his land out of pipe, because I love welding, obviously that's what I do, but I've done it my whole life. And anyway, the Lord just blessed me really in so many ways at the Dream Center, and one of the main ones is Moses, and I talk to him every day, and I remind him often that he's one of the best sponsors a guy could ever have.
Mm-hmm. Is he your sponsor?
He is my sponsor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I actually asked him at Steel Tech one day. I said, Moses, will you be my sponsor? He said, absolutely. I'd be honored. And it's just, he's a cool dude. Mm-hmm. And I just wish everybody had a heart like him.
Yeah. I'm very blessed to know him.
Yeah. It would almost be boring if everybody did have a heart like him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, there would be so much kindness and love and happiness around, it would be kind of boring. But anyway, so I graduate the Dream Center and, and I'm doing good. I'm sober and I'm doing my thing. And I Pastor Tony is real good friends with a lot of people up there in Lawrence County. Mm-hmm. And I actually ended up getting a job working for Jackie Moore at the Joplin Stockyards. Mm-hmm. And I went and spoke to him, and it was really funny. I said, he was buying calves one day on a Monday. And I said, Jackie, I'm Brandon. I said, I was supposed to talk to you about getting a job. And he said, yeah, go talk to Bruce. I'm like, okay, who's Bruce? And he's like, he's at the check-in station down there. He's like, you'll see him. He's got a brown hat, probably a scar sticking out of his mouth. I said, okay. So I found this guy, and I said, hey, Jackie just told me to come talk to you about a job. And he looked me over, and he said, I don't think we need anybody. And he said, I was like, no. I was like, I already told Jack that I wanted a job. And he said, come talk to you on when to start. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, we'll be at the house 4:30 in the morning. I said, where's the house? And so he told me, and I was like, all right. And that job was a fun job. Mm-hmm. That's cowboy. Mm-hmm. I rode a horse every day, 20 miles a day, 25 miles a day.
Wow.
And, I'd saddle 3 horses in the morning, and I'd load them up in a trailer. And I'd get done, and I'd unsaddle them, and, then we have calves to work. And, it was just fence to fix. And some days we'd ship cattle, and those days were fun, because you get together 1,000 head of cattle and sort through them and load them on trucks and ship them out. And then you get a few empty pens, and then Jack goes buy some more and puts the new ones in that pen, Mm-hmm. It's just a revolving door, but yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
A lot of hard work, it sounds like.
It was.
Starting at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of times, I'd work 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
But that's stuff that I'd done my whole life. So I never thought anything about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Then I saw where I was working there, and a buddy of mine was riding bulls for Double B Rough Stock Company. And that's a rodeo company out of Licking, Missouri, or Tipton, Missouri. And so he was riding bulls on his circuit. And he calls me Mo. And so Mo, if you're watching, this is for you. And we call each other Mo and Mowgli. And anyway, Mowgli, he goes, Mo, he's like, you used to do shoot dogging, right? And I said, well, yeah. He said, dude, you need to come to one of these shows. He said, the guys suck. He said, you could win. And I'm like, no way. And he's like, yes way. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I said, I ain't done it in forever, And he's like, well, it'd be like riding a bike. He said, it's something you'll never forget. Mm-hmm. I said, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, where's the rodeos at? And man, most of the rodeos were like 4 hours from my house. And I'm like, I'm not driving 4 hours for a rodeo. Mm-hmm. And anyway, he calls me up one day. He's like, Mo, guess what? He's like, we're going to be in Carthage at Civil War, which that's just, right mm-hmm. up the road.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'll count me in. I said, you got to call in or just show up? He's like, no, you got to call in. So I said, all right. So I was looking on Facebook and got the number. So I called Brent and I told him my name and I was going to enter the shoot dogging. And anyway, it was a Saturday night. I ended up winning it. And Mo was like, I told you, So then and he was right. The crew he had at the time was not. He wasn't that good.
Right.
And I was really surprised with myself. It was like a 3 or 4 second run. Mm-hmm. It was an average time, and I ended up winning the deal, and got me a check off of it, and I was was like, maybe I can do this. So next weekend, or next Monday, I was calling, so I called in for the next rodeo and ended up winning it. And so I went to 3 rodeos, and Brent was like, hey man, he's like, you're pretty good at this. He's like, and I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to give you an invite to finals. Because, I mean, I hadn't rodeoed all year, and the other guys had, so it's not fair to them.
Right.
But he's like, you're really good. And he's like, come to finals. So I said, all right. And so just going to 3 rodeos throughout the year, and then at finals, I ended up getting 3rd at finals.
Yeah, which is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got
especially only 3 rodeos.
Yeah, and I got me a buckle, and I'm like, cool, And Brent's like, hey, he's like, you care to, he's like, have you thought about running the circuit all year? And I said, well, I've kind of been kicking it around, And so after finals, there's like a, I don't know, 2-month window there where they don't do nothing, like end of December, January, and February. And so March rolls around, and I'm still working it for Jackie Moore, on his ranch, and I see a post on Facebook about Double B Rough Stock starting up, and he gives a list of all the events and whatnot, and I mean, it's just thick, every weekend it's somewhere. And I'm thinking, man, I work so much, and I was like, I could do it. And so,
with working or just doing it full time?
Yeah, with working. I was going to work. And Friday and Saturday night I was going to rodeo. And how he does it, he has 2 rodeos, Friday and Saturday night, and it's one for each night. Is how he does it. So you could win Friday night, and you could win Saturday night.
Right. What if you win? What's that check look like?
So it depends on how many guys are entered. But if there was 8 or 10 guys, you could win 300 or 400. Easy enough.
Yeah.
So, and the entry fee was like, I think it's like $55. So I mean, you made a little money. And so anyway, so I entered the rodeo, and I started off strong. And I mean, I was going to a rodeo every Friday night. Friday I'd get off work, and I'd head straight to wherever they were at. And I started out, I'd drive home and get like an hour or 2 of sleep, and then get up for work Saturday morning, because I mean, I work 7 days a week. And
on the ranch,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 7 days a week, every day. Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, New Year's Day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, those days all we did was feed and go home. We didn't do nothing extra. But still, to feed 10,000 head of cattle took you till 1 or 2 o'clock, starting at daylight.
Dang.
So anyway, so I started out, going all the way home, which all the way home was at Cassville. And most of the rodeos were north of here, like north of 44 even. And so I was like, man, it seems retarded to drive all the way, home and then turn around and come back. So I was like, so I talked to Jack, and I said, hey, do you care if I just like on my way home from a rodeo, pull in a horse barn and just sleep in my truck? So that way I'm here, and I was like, Bruce or whoever can come wake me up, or, when it's time to go. And he's like, that's fine. I don't care. So that's what I started doing. And then throughout the year, I didn't win every rodeo, because you have your off days or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was doing really good. I was like 100 points ahead of everybody else. And I knew I had year-end champ like pretty well sewed up. Like there came a point where I was like, man, I could like not go to any more rodeos and still win this deal. But I was like, no, I'm good. So, that's whenever I started drinking again, doing that rodeo life, and because there's always beer at a rodeo,
Right.
And I'm not much of a beer man, but I do like a good bourbon, and I started drinking quite a bit, and I was doing okay with it, I mean, I was drinking a lot, but I wasn't like being stupid about it. So one night we had a rodeo in Arkansas, and I was actually going to be going by a buddy of mine's house, and He actually rode bulls, as a matter of fact. And I asked him, I said, hey, you want to come down to this bull riding with me? And I said, I'm interested in shoot dogging. I said, we'll just hang out and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, sure. Pick me up on the way down. Well, when I got there, dude, I was hammered.
To his house.
Yeah, to his house. I was soused.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, he said, there ain't no way you could throw a steer. I said, I'll sober up by then. He's like, you still got whiskey left? I said, well, yeah. He's like, well, then you ain't going to sober up. And anyway, that's whenever he said, man, he's like, here, have some of this and sober up. And it was meth.
Mm-hmm. Somehow found its way back to you.
Yep. And like whenever I seen it, my palms instantly went to sweating, because I've been clean for about a year and a half.
No parole.
Yeah. No, I was on probation.
Or probation.
Yeah, I was on probation because whenever I got sent to the Dream Center, that's about 6 months into the Dream Center is when my probation started, and I got put on 5 years probation again, and so, I mean, I say I was drinking, but that stuff, it's pretty easy to get out of your system, and my PO, she wouldn't test me or nothing, she never did, because I was. I told them what they wanted to hear. Mm-hmm. I was pretty good at lying by this time, cause
right.
You just have to.
I'm a hardworking Christian cowboy.
Kind of, yeah, you know what I mean? And so, and she kind of had the hots for me. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. And I used that to my advantage.
Right.
So, anyway, he pulled that out and I was like, yeah, you know what? You're probably right. And I did it and ended up winning the rodeo that night. And I thought, see, I could do meth and not everything bad happens. You know what I mean? I could still function. And here I go starting to justify it.
Right.
And it's the first day back from after a year and a half sobriety. But this time it was a lot different. Like the devil, whenever he got a hold of me, the last time I tried, or when I went back, I mean, it was just so strong, and I just went crazy. I ended up winning year-end champ, but it was tough because, I was doing so many drugs that I was getting overamped and I couldn't function. You know what I mean? I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And the guys at the rodeo circuit was just like, dude, are you okay? We've never seen you act like this. And, you haven't thrown a steer in 3 rodeos. What's up? And I'm just like, I'm just having an off time, And anyway, short story long, I ended up, that was in 2020. And then in, May of 2022, I caught 3 the ones that stuck with me, it was 3 possession charges, a paraphernalia charge, and a probation violation, which ended up sending me to prison.
Yeah. Okay.
At Fulton. And I went to Fulton, spent 8.5 months there, and I was sentenced I had 4 4-year sentences that ended up getting ran concurrent. And I got out of there in 8.5 months because, the prisons are full, and I ended up only having to do 15% of the 4 years. And so when I got out, or while I was in there, let me back up. While I was in there, I rededicated my life to the Lord. Mm-hmm. I was in my Bible a lot. I was actually truly, I was at my rock bottom, and I was truly remorsed, and I was sorry for what I'd done, people that I'd hurt, the lies that I'd told, the suffering that I'd put my family through. And, whenever a person's at their weakest, when they're at their bottom, and if you're a believer and you cry out to God, like the feeling that overcame me was better than any high that I've ever had. It was amazing, and I was just praying for. I bet I prayed for an hour. Just I'm not really even praying. Well, I call it talking to God.
That I'm the exact same way. All right, yeah. As you see, I'm still learning. So we lost a little bit of that podcast, but I think we got most of it out there. I don't know exactly how much we lost, but you were saying that you ended up finding Christ when you went to prison the last time?
Yeah.
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 And got your whole life turned around, and May 5th was your last time, 22.
Yep, that's my clean date.
Yep. So, and ever since then, everything's been good, and you found Christ, and in Steel Tech, I mean, I feel like Steel Tech is such a great environment for anyone to be in.
I totally agree. That's why, honestly, my cousin Josh and Josh Reed.
Yep.
That's why I brought them along. Is because they needed Steel Tech in their life. You know, and I'm super excited come February because my boy's going to be starting there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to take Alfredo's spot painting. So, but yeah, I'm like, you know, Steel Tech is awesome, you know. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend, she's like, I'm so jealous of where you work, you know. I'm like, well, you should be, you know. I mean, it's a great place. It is. It's absolutely a blessing to work there, you know. And I'm thankful to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Moses.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He recommended me, so yeah, thanks, Moses. Yeah, hopefully we didn't lose too much of that. It ended around the hour 20 mark. I don't know how far past we went, but hopefully it didn't lose too much because it was all great.
Well, I could talk for days.
So yeah, hopefully we have all bad. That's my bad. I have no idea why my phone shut off. I just looked over and it was black.
Yeah,
I have it on Do Not Disturb, so I don't know if it just shuts off after a certain amount of time or what. That's something I need to keep learning.
Probably tired of hearing me.
I doubt it. All right. Well, I think I mentioned it at the beginning. I want to start asking each guest a couple of questions, 3 to 5. I haven't thought of enough questions. I've only got one, just because it intrigues me.
All right.
On what people would say. So this is how we're going to start ending the podcast. I'll ask a couple questions and we'll end it that way.
And I'm number one. This is the
He
first
is
time
number
ever.
one, and
All
I've
right.
only got one.
Okay.
And I'm interested to know what you're going to say because I feel like a lot of people would say no. I think I already said this.
Okay, before you ask,
Okay.
do I need to? Are you wanting a yes or no, or do I need to elaborate?
We can elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah. We can elaborate a little bit.
Okay, all right.
All right. Me and you get in a fight. Who's winning?
I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of stuff broke.
Now, I expect you from your point of view. Most people, I feel like I'd be like, no, I'm definitely kicking their ass. But you are a big boy, and you're a cowboy. So, I mean, I'm a big boy too, but I don't know if I can handle you, Brandon.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of stuff broke.
It'd be 2 big boys going out. I think we would just get tired before somebody actually lost.
Probably.
You'd
Yeah.
just be like, no, we need water.
Yeah. Time out. Wow.
Let's hear it. Be honest.
I don't know. That's not where I thought you was going to ask. I really don't know what you was
I've
going
been
to ask.
thinking about it for the past few days. I'm like, I want to know if people think they could kick my ass or not.
Man, I don't know. Just I think it'd be a pretty close one. But I think I could take you.
I like to hear it.
I do.
I think I could take it if I got your back and your neck. I would not want to stand blow to blow with you.
I got a short neck, so it's kind of hard to grab.
You do have a short neck, but I'm hoping I could get to your back.
Did you wrestle in high school?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I was gonna say that would be where you'd get me.
No, I'm probably way over cocky. And I don't want to use the word cocky. I don't think I'm cocky, but I'm confident with stuff, you know. Like, I feel like if you ever had to get into a fight to protect yourself or whoever, why would you not bet on yourself?
Right.
You know, that you're going to lose if you're not betting on yourself, for damn
Exactly.
sure. But, yeah, I would not want to throw punches with you. I would immediately try and get you on your to get on your back and choke you out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that fist coming towards my face.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't want. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight. I wouldn't want you to throw fists at me either. Man, I don't know what I'd do. I mean,
I am so out of shape. I'm definitely going to try my best to just wear my opponent out. I'm so out of shape. I'm just going to like try and let you do your own thing, and then hopefully you get tired to make a mistake.
yeah, that's a good one to have. Man, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a girl, but I'd probably have to grab a hold of your beard or something. And,
That's fair.
because I mean,
That's
girls
fair.
grab a hold of hair.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
that's the first thing they go for is the hair.
But I'd probably have to go for your balls or your hair.
Yeah, that's fair.
And hope for the best.
Hope for the best. I respect it. I expect a lot of people to say no. I won't be offended if they don't, but I did not expect Brandon to say no. I expected him to say he could take me. So
It'd be fun. It'd be a good one to watch. I bet
pay-per-view.
we could sell a lot of tickets.
For the right money, we will fight.
There you go. You heard it.
And still love each other, but money's money. So
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it. So
All right.
Episode 5.
Episode
Thanks
5
for
in the
coming
books.
out.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We'll see you Monday.
All right.
Well, that's unfortunate. We lost some towards the end, but.